Hi, I'm Dr. Rich Blon, host of the Conquering Your Stress podcast. In this, the 32nd edition of the podcast, we'll continue our discussion on how to manage stress by reducing your overall number of stressors. If you're like most of my clients and students, you probably feel there's not enough hours in the day to do what you need to do. Unfortunately, you can't add more hours to your day or more days to your week or more weeks to your life. What you can do is examine how you spend your time and find ways to use it more efficiently. And I specifically use the word efficiently rather than productively because I feel that you don't always have to produce something in order to use your time wisely. Sometimes watching TV or sitting by the side of the pool and drinking a margarita is a very efficient use of your time. Efficiency really relates to, are you using your time to meet your values congruent goals? And if you are using your time to meet your goals, then you're using it efficiently. And one of your goals might be to spend a little time relaxing. So I want to get away from the notion of productive use of your time and get into the idea of efficient use of your time. And there's 3 steps to managing your time. We're going to spend a couple of podcasts on time management, but let's look at the 3 overall steps. Step 1, the first step in learning how to manage your time more efficiently is setting goals. And I've mentioned a couple of times in past newsletters and podcasts that setting clear goals helps you reduce stress by providing some structure and purpose in your life. It also serves as the basis for planning and managing your time. Managing your time is relative to your goals. So, for example, if you have no goals, if you're on vacation and you just want to relax, you really don't need to spend a lot of time on time management, unless there are some specific things maybe you've planned for the day. But pretty much your use of time there really is related to relaxing and enjoying your vacation. Now compare that to your use of time on a typical work day when you've got to commute to work, you've got to get through your A list of specific activities that must get done, and you keep constantly getting interrupted. So your use of time there and managing your time there is related to your work. So again, think of time as a relative commodity that really relates to your goals and what you need to get done. That's why if you have crystal clear goals for the week, for the month, for the year, you can really start to look at your time and see if you're efficiently using it to manage your goals. All right, so that's step 1, is setting your goals. Step 2 is really assessing the way you're currently using time. And I think the best way to do that is to break your current use of time down into categories. And I use 7 different categories: self-care, work, school, commuting, play, sleep, and before and after time. And I'll go over each real quickly. Self-care time is the time devoted to personal hygiene and health-related activities. Some of these relate to your appearance, like combing your hair, putting your makeup on. Some of them are related to hygiene, taking a shower, washing, and some of them are related to self-care, doing things like exercising, meditating, and getting enough sleep. School time is pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of people think school time relates just to the time you're in class. And now whether that's, whether you're taking full-time college classes, or you're training for a second career, or you're taking classes learning a new craft or skill, it's not only the time you spend in class, but it's also the time you spend preparing, the time you spend reading, the time you spend writing papers and things like that. Work time is obviously the time you spend, getting in the office or wherever you work for your paid labor. But I also want you to think of work time as it relates to things that you don't like to do. They're not fun, but they're also not paid labor. So for me, it's things like house care, doing the lawn, doing the pool. That's labor that I don't get paid for, and it's not fun anymore. But also unpaid labor could be child care, things like that, elder care. Commuting time is the time you spend in the car, on the bus, on the train, getting to work, getting to school, and returning again. Sleep time is the amount of time you you spend actually engaged in sleeping. And this is really highly variable. For years, I could get by in 5 hours sleep and be completely rested. Lately, the last couple of months, because I'm in the middle of a lot of different things, like packing a house to move, selling a house, moving to Florida, as well as working full-time, I need more rest time just to kind of recharge my batteries. But normally 5 hours is enough. You might need 8 hours, you might need 10. You need to assess how much sleep you need, and the best way to figure that out is to see how long it takes for you to feel rested in the morning. Playtime is the amount of time you give yourself to do fun things. And it's real important. If there's no playtime in your life, you stand a much greater chance of being stressed. And I don't care what the playtime is, you need to figure that out. What do you need to do to have some fun, let your hair down, recharge your batteries? And then the last type of time that most people don't pay any attention to is before and after time. And I find that this is a main source of stress for most of the people I work with. They just simply don't give themselves enough time to get to the first event of the day, and then they don't give themselves enough time in between events, and they don't give themselves enough time to get home. And they're constantly pushing it, and any slight setback, like a little traffic or whatever, and they're stressed. So that before and after time is that, I call it cushion time. And if you don't give yourself enough time to get somewhere, and you don't give yourself enough time in between events, you're more than likely going to be stressed. And you need to figure out a way to recapture some time to give yourself more of a cushion. The third step is, once you've clarified your use of time and how they relate to your goals, look for patterns. And I ask people to identify blocks of time that they're currently using inefficiently and see if they could free up some of that time to use it more efficiently. And again, I'm going to leave that up to you. You might watch TV as a way to relax and find that an efficient use of your time, but maybe 4 hours is too much. Or you might like to text your friends or talk on the phone, and that's an efficient use of your time to catching up and building your social relationships, but doing it for too long or too often, or doing it while you're doing something else, is not the most efficient use of your time. So by keeping a time management journal and actually looking at how you use each 30-minute segment of the day, you can visually see blocks of time that you are not using that efficiently, that maybe you could use more efficiently. In my current newsletter, there's actually a template for charting your use of time. And if you just look at the address on this podcast, you'll be able to get that edition of the newsletter and see. So I hope these 3 steps, setting goals, assessing your current use of time, and looking for blocks that you could use more efficiently, are a good first step in helping you learn how to manage your time. Next month and a couple of months after that, we'll go into a couple of other specific techniques for managing your time more effectively. So I look forward to working with you again next week as we continue our understanding of time management. Thanks.